Pastor Marc, let's talk about how does apostles and prophets work together. You know, I know that you have more of a prophetic background than even I do, but I mean, how do you see apostles and prophets working together nowadays?
Well, the key thing that I'm seeing is that, one, we have to agree to cooperate with one another to get the maximum productivity out of both gifts. A prophet always works better with an apostle. An apostle works better with a prophet. I believe the grace that's on each other's lives draws the fullness of each gift out of each individual.
And so how do you see, I mean, give me just quickly, what do you think is the unique difference of the apostle versus the unique grace of the prophet?
Well, the grace of the prophet, of the ability to see, to hear the voice of God, to know what's in the mind of God and the thoughts of God. What is God thinking, not just for people personally, but what is God thinking about the church? What is God thinking about a nation? What is God thinking about a region? What is God thinking about a government? So the prophet has the ability to get the information from the mind of God and relay it to the body of Christ. And I believe that the grace that's upon an apostle's life as a wise master builder can then take the information that the prophet receives from the mind of God and begin to build a structure.
Now he takes it and he judges it, is that right?
Yeah.
And then he decides whether or not it's the time of the season, et cetera, to use that?
Yes, that's correct. Prophecy has to be judged.
I just think this strange thing happened. How does a guy come up to me and he told me that he had a dream or vision of something uncomfortable in his church, okay, with the set man or some sort of a direction or something like that. And so I asked him, I said, are you a son in that house? Are you a prophet in that house? Are you recognized in that house? I mean, how does a person that's a prophet in a house, how do they, when they get something from God, what is their responsibility? You know, I mean, do they just stand up and say, "Thus saith the Lord," and Shadabakaya, and you know, I mean, what is the protocol of statesmanship of that house prophet or that prophet that's in that house? Should they be recognized, not recognized? I mean, what is the deal with that?
Well, I feel they should be recognized. I believe every local church should have an order or a guideline that they set up. Prophets need to have boundaries. They need to have perimeters in which they have to operate in. You just don't jump up and shout because you have a word. And I believe that's the mixing of the grace of the apostolic and the prophetic, that the apostolic says, okay, now you've been shouting, hollering, everything you want for all this time, but now the apostles are here to help bring some structure, help bring some clarity, to help you to bring balance to what it is that you're doing. You just can't just jump up and shout. You can't override the authority and the law.
Oh, yes. So in other words, a prophet can't force their gift on an apostle. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you cannot force, the gift cannot be forced upon the apostle, the set man. It cannot be forced to be released in the house.
Yeah. You know, I think the good thing for prophets, they need, because prophets have been terribly rejected. But I think the good thing is that now prophets are beginning to find out the apostles love them. They covet their gift. They want to put them in their role. They want their voice in the church. But I think for a long time, prophets have not really had a protocol or structure in order to operate in properly. And when I was talking to this guy, I asked him, I said, are you recognized in that house as a prophet? Well, initially his response was, well, everybody knows I'm a prophet. Yeah, but does the apostle in the house recognize you as a prophet? Because, and I gave the example, I said, you know, we all know when Nathan came to David, he said, thou art the one. Okay, now we know that David and Nathan had a covenant relationship. I mean, they worked together. He was a known house prophet.
Yes.
What if they wouldn't have had any covenant with each other? What would have happened? I mean, I'm assuming, but it could be that Nathan could have lost his head, man, okay? And so I think it's important, don't you too, that a prophet is recognized by that apostle?
Yes. They need to be recognized, established as a proven prophetic gift. We can't let anybody that just shows up at our front door saying that they're a prophet come in and begin to say that they're declaring the word of the Lord over that house, because the set man that is there is responsible for that word that is being released over the people.
Mm-hmm. So now okay. Now hold up. That's a good point. The ultimate responsibility of the direction of the church and to receive that prophetic word or not receive it, or judge it according to the time, etc., etc.
Yeah.
That doesn't lie in the hands of the prophet, does it?
No, it doesn't lie in the hands of the prophet. He may feel that this is what God is saying, and he gives the word to the set man, and even though it comes from God, the set man still has the right to say, okay, if this is God, then we'll do this, or I don't feel that this is the proper time to do that. The prophet's responsibility is to release and relay the word, and after you do that, basically, that your assignment is complete.
So you're done. So then they need to just chill now. Okay, you finished your grace. Your grace is done, right?
Yeah, just cool out.
Because I see some prophets, man, they get so frustrated because, man, he should be doing what God said, and he's missing it, and the glory of God's going to depart now because they get frustrated because they're not the man of God or whatever is not doing what they think God said to do or what they know to.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? When you're done, you're done.
You're done. You can get to a point where you'll make yourself frustrated, even in your own gift and your grace, that you deliver a word and you want to see someone operate in what it is that God has said, but you can't waste your time trying to force somebody to do something that God is telling them to do, or you feel that God is telling them to do, but then you're going to miss out on the next thing that God has for you while you're trying to get somebody else to deal with the first thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now let me ask you another. What about prophets that just flat out aren't being recognized in the house that they're in? What should they do? See,
that is I used to feel that. Was two answers here. One, I believe that sometimes God will have a prophet in a house to make him. Jeremiah 18, he told Jeremiah to go down to the potter's house. He said, there I'm going to cause you to hear my voice, or I'm going to teach you how to hear the voice of God. Sometimes going through a making process, we learn to hear God's voice. When we're down on the floor, when we're being mistreated, when we're being rejected, it forces us to be on our knees and on our face, seeking God so that we can hear what God's saying.
So you're saying that could be the potter's house?
That could be the potter's house.
Man, I don't know if anybody wants to hear that, man. But that's right, isn't it? I mean, because that's a time where, I mean, we know that it's to be like a wilderness place where you're being tested and tried and you learn how to speak the word and stuff. So now what was the other answer?
Well, the other answer is that maybe you're in the wrong place. You could just be flat out in the wrong place.
Right, you could be in the wrong place. Maybe you're in a place where it's not apostolic even.
There's no apostolic input. There's no door for the prophetic. And, many times I have people, they say, well, I'm a prophet and I'm in this church and they don't let me prophesy and they don't let me do this and they don't let me do that. And I always, the apostolic answer to that is, well, why are you there anyway?
Right. Now, the prophet's role in the local church with an apostle, is it for revelation? Is it for direction? Is it for warnings? What is it? I mean, what do you see as the main thing? Now we're talking about different things. We're talking about in direct relationship with the set man who really is carrying the vision, or I should say, casting the vision continually of the church.
Well, I feel that there is a relationship that develops when God sets a set man and a prophet together. You mentioned David and you mentioned Nathan earlier, and David even had the relationship that he had with Samuel. That when there's a relationship that's developed, a lot of times as a set man, God will send a prophet into your life to help speak into your life. For lack of a better word, he may give you a personal prophet that can speak into your life. One, first, he understands your vision. He understands what it is that God has told you to do. He understands the direction in which you're going in. And so God may use him to encourage you, and that's what God is saying. Keep up, keep doing what you're doing. The Lord was showing me the same thing, that type of thing. Yeah, to help confirm, like even maybe to get some new revelation in the direction where you're going, or something that the set man may have been contemplating, and well, I'm not really sure if this is God or not. And then the prophet said, hey, you know what, God just gave me a dream last night or something, and it helps confirm what's happening.
Yeah. Now, should prophets change the direction of a church without? In other words, in lieu of the direction that the apostle has set, is that out of order?
I feel that is definitely out of order if the set man is the one who God has set in the house to give direction and order and to change whatever the vision, to revise the vision. But the prophet, I don't feel, if he's not a set man in the house, does not have that authority to begin to change direction.
Mm-hmm. Now here's another thing I think is interesting. Now, because we kind of communicate like, well, you're only talking about one prophet in the church with one apostle. But let's talk about a church that has a lot of prophets in it. Okay? Is there an order, a prophetic order? Are there rankings of different prophets in the house?
Well, in our church we have several prophets. And in the apostolic, prophetic, there are teams. So one team that's usually in an apostolic church is a prophetic team. And every team has to have a leader. And it should be that proven, mature gift, not just the gifting, but someone who has the character to back up the gift. And their lifestyle is right. They're loving their wives. They're taking care of their children. They're paying tithes to the local church. They're faithful to their leader. So in that sense, there's someone that's the head of that team, but yet even in that team, you have to have order. The scripture tells in 1 Corinthians chapter 14 that the prophets may prophesy, one or two or three, and then let the others judge. Then it goes on a little bit further, and it says that they all may prophesy, that we may learn. But everybody can't prophesy at the same time.
So now are you saying that the others that are judging are the prophets, or other prophets in the house?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you have a group of prophets, are these more likely to be sons and daughters of the house?
Yes, definitely. They have to be sons and daughters that are raised up, because they have to have the spirit. Just like when in Numbers chapter 11, when God spoke to Moses to gather the 70 elders of the people together, that God brought them together, and he took the spirit that was on Moses and put on the 70. They have to be sons or daughters. They have to have the spirit of the Father. Mm-hmm. They have to have the best interest of that local church.
That's good. Now, what do we say to a prophet that's been rejected in another house or from another movement, or just has never ever been received anywhere, and then comes over to like your church, and here you are, an apostle? Man, what are you going to do? How are you going to transition that prophet? What do you have any like requirements? I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you don't want to just blow them out and continue to reject them. How would you handle that person that's just coming to your church?
Well, first of all, we need to recognize that there's some healing that needs to take place. You've been rejected as a prophet. You've been rejected for your gift. We're not saying you're not a prophet, but let's get you healed. Let's get you delivered from rejection. Because if a prophet operates out of rejection, then his word is gloom, doom, damnation, judgment is what usually comes out because of the rejection that they've suffered. So we have to get that rejection out of them. And you just can't come into a house because you're a prophet and feel that you're going to operate right away as a prophet. You have to be, you have to prove yourself faithful.
So here again, you can't force yourself on the house.
Yes.
You got to be led in. You got to be received.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so I guess you pray for that person, and now also, do you feel like during this transition, there's a time where they need to catch the vision, right?
Yes.
And you can't catch the vision, I don't think, in a couple of services.
No, you can't catch the vision in a couple of services. You need to be there, know what's going on, know the direction that the church is going in. Again, have the spirit of the leader, an understanding of the vision, and any true prophet that is humble and sincere about the things of God will submit themselves for that season to get to know that local house and get to know that leader.
Mm-hmm. And is there also a testing of faithfulness?
Yeah, there's a testing of faithfulness, your commitment to the local church.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's another interesting question. Do you think a person that transitions as a prophet, is that person going to be recognized by everybody And in other words, is everybody, all the other prophets going to get an assurance that that person is also supposed to be here and supposed to be a part of this team? Does that come?
Yeah, I believe that it comes at the confirmation that this person should be a part of this team that's looking out for the best of the ministry, that confirmation should come. It should be a witness in the hearts of the other team members.
Good. Okay, man, this is a great conversation. Well, let's go get some coffee.